Your phone buzzes and something inside your chest tightens. That feeling, that involuntary pull, it's not hunger or thirst, it's something deeper. Your brain has just been hijacked by one of the most sophisticated psychological weapons ever created, and the terrifying part is you gave it permission. Welcome to what social media is actually doing to your brain right now, and I promise after this you will never scroll the same way again. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day, once every 10 minutes, even while sleeping. But here's what's truly disturbing. When you get a notification, your dopamine levels spike before you even open the app. Your brain isn't reacting to what's on the screen, it's reacting to the possibility of what might be there. This is the exact same neurochemical response that kept our ancestors alive when hunting for food. The uncertainty, the not knowing, that's where addiction lives. And social media companies weaponized it on purpose. Imagine your brain as a medieval castle. For thousands of years, it was protected. Then someone invented a door straight to the treasure room. That door is guarded by something that knows exactly how to manipulate you. It's called an algorithm. It learns what makes you stay. It studies your behavior like a scientist studying a lab rat, except the rat is you, and the experiment never ends. Former Facebook engineer Justin Rosenstein said we are dealing with systems that have created mass behavioral addiction. He's not exaggerating. Meet Jake. He was a normal kid, straight A's. Soccer team. Then Instagram happened at age 14. Within 6 months, he was checking his phone 200 times a day. His parents thought he was lazy. His therapist thought he was depressed. He thought he was broken. The truth was worse. He was designed to be addicted. He didn't have a willpower problem. He had a neuroscience problem. His brain chemistry had been hijacked. Here's the mechanism. B.F. Skinner discovered in the 1950s that intermittent reinforcement is the most addictive reward schedule possible. You don't need to win every time. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. That unpredictability creates obsession. Slot machines work this way. Social media does too. Every time you refresh your feed, you're pulling a slot machine lever. Jake didn't know this. He just knew he felt empty without the validation. One like felt like winning. No likes felt like losing. And he couldn't stop trying to win. But addiction is only half the story. Your attention is being fractured into pieces so small you're basically a ghost. Neuroscientist Gloria Mark found it takes 23 minutes to refocus after interruption. Social media is designed to interrupt you constantly. You sit down to do something meaningful and ping a notification arrives and you're gone. 43% of your productive thinking time vanishes. Over a lifetime, that's years of deep work lost, years of creativity, years of actual human connection, replaced by performative connection. This is where it gets dark. Social comparison. When you're on social media, you're constantly being gazed at. You're constantly aware of being watched, even if no one's actually looking. So you curate, you optimize, you present a version of yourself that's been focus grouped by your own brain. This creates the spotlight effect on steroids. You think everyone's noticing you far more than they actually are, but the damage isn't in reality. It's in your perception of reality. Your brain now believes your worth is determined by external validation, and that's exactly how social media companies want you to feel. Consider Maria. She's 17, normal teenage girl. Instagram was her escape, but the more she posted, the worse she felt. Her brain kept score. This photo got 47 likes. Last photo got 23. Why? What did she do wrong? She didn't eat lunch one day because she wanted her collarbones to look sharper in photos. Her ribs started showing. Her parents got worried. She got defensive. It wasn't anorexia, her therapist said. It was something newer. Algorithmic self-hatred. Her brain had learned to see herself through the eyes of strangers. And strangers were cruel. The research is devastating. A 2018 University of Pittsburgh study followed 1,000 young adults. Those who spent more than 2 hours per day on social media were significantly more likely to develop anxiety and depression. More than 3 hours and the risk skyrockets. But here's the twist. It's not the time spent, it's the quality of attention. Passive scrolling triggers cortisol. That's your stress hormone. Your body goes into low-level fight or flight mode. You're not just wasting time, you're stressing your nervous system into dysfunction. Over weeks and months and years, that compounds into chronic anxiety. Brain scans from teens who grew up with smartphones versus teens from the 90s showed shocking differences. Areas responsible for impulse control were underdeveloped. Areas responsible for fear processing were overactive. These kids were literally developing into more anxious, less impulsive versions of what humans were supposed to be. And this isn't quickly reversible. Your brain rewires based on how you use it. Use it for shallow consumption, and your brain becomes optimized for shallow consumption. Here's what broke me. Facebook's own internal research leaked by Frances Haugen showed their algorithm amplifies content that makes you angry. Why? Because anger keeps you engaged longer than happiness. A happy person smiles at a post and moves on. An angry person stays. They comment, they argue, they come back to see if someone replied. Outrage is the currency. You're the product. Systems are intentionally designed to make you feel bad so you stay longer. Now here's the part that changes everything. The same neuroplasticity that allows social media to damage your brain can be used to heal it. A Stanford study showed just 20 minutes of intentional tech-free time per day where you're doing something that requires deep focus led to measurable improvements in attention span within 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Your brain is insanely adaptable, which means you have way more control than you think. The moment you become aware of the mechanism, it loses some of its power. Every app on your phone was designed in a room full of engineers whose job was to make it addictive. There's a whole field called persuasive technology. It's just applied psychology. You're not weak for being affected by it. A person with a broken leg isn't weak for limping. Social media doesn't break your leg, it breaks your brain. And that's worse because you can't see it. The philosopher Aristotle said we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence is not an act, but a habit. Every time you reach for your phone, you're voting for a particular version of yourself. The you that's anxious, scattered, desperate for validation, or the you that's calm, focused, secure in your own value. These aren't abstract concepts. They're literally neural patterns being reinforced. Here's what matters. If you want to reclaim your attention, your mental health, and your sense of self, you need to understand this is an active practice. Remove the apps. Use grayscale mode. It sounds silly, but when your phone isn't colorful, your brain stops craving it. Create friction. Make checking your phone an intentional choice, not an automatic reflex. Most people reach for their phone without even realizing it. Interrupt that automaticity. It's the killer. But here's what matters even more. Reconnect with boredom. In medieval times, boredom was impossible. Find a cave, avoid predators, grow food. Modern humans solved those problems, but we haven't solved meaning, and meaning doesn't come from scrolling. It comes from difficulty, from struggle, from creating something that matters, from relationships that are awkward, messy, and real instead of curated and perfect, from sitting alone with your thoughts even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable. One more thing, tech executives mostly don't let their own kids use social media. Steve Jobs didn't let his kids use iPads. That should tell you something. Tristan Harris was a design ethicist at Google, and he became so disturbed by what he saw that he left to start the Center for Humane Technology. He saw the machine from the inside and was horrified. Your attention is the most valuable thing you have, not your money, not your time in an abstract sense, your attention, your actual conscious awareness. Right now, some of the smartest people in the world are competing to steal it. They're fighting for the real estate inside your skull, and they're winning because you're playing a game where the rules are hidden and the opponent has all the advantages. But awareness is the first step to freedom. The moment you see the mechanism, you can choose differently. So here's my final question. Who do you want your brain to become, and what are you going to do about it starting today?